Okay, so here we've got a rather large cargo terminal. It is actually in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is the single largest place in the world, or I should say, the biggest, or pardon me, the busiest cargo airport in the world. They have recently made some upgrades that has allowed them to only grow that even more. You can think of a reason why is that lots of things, unfortunately, are made in China. Okay, and this I guess I wanted to show you this video because it shows a lot of the ground types of operations. Okay, I don't know if this is going to be shown or not, but I will tell you this is some of the things that we have seen previously. It is kind of a scissor type of operation or a scissor type of lift that raises up pallets that are then slid on board. This thing right here is also another tool for loading. However, I want you to notice where it is going. It is loading freight into literally a very small cranny of space in not only this area of the tail, but also this area of the tail. I don't know if you remembered, but the cargo rolling part of the plane probably ends about right here. This cargo is going in this little door right here and then gets stacked and put into this area. This, as opposed to being a nice automated process and things magically slide on and off, this portion right here, yes, this is automated when a box goes up to the top. However, guess what? There is a human being that sometimes is inside this little tiny space right here that is stacking boxes not only here, but also up here. With the reason being, you want to maximize your space because you are maximizing your money. So, I mean, all around the airport operations, you see these underbelly types of containers. This looks a little too tall to be, I mean, you can generally tell the underbelly types of locations on the plane are oftentimes short, generally no more than about 5 feet. Sometimes even less, depending on what type of plane it actually is. This is much taller, so I would think that it would be going up top of some sort of an airplane. You've got a nice up top container. Then over here, you've got something that is boxes covered with plastic, then secured with all sorts of webbing. Let's go back to that. We will, yeah, this thing right here, the train of cargo that you saw whizzing by right there. The train of cargo is a matter of fact on operations that are working at the airport. DHL, I have seen over there, have trains that are 15, 20 cars long, and they're all getting dragged around. And all of that is being done in an effort to maximize the speed at which things are moving. Because a lot of times a plane gets offloaded and then that freight is taken somewhere else and thrown onto yet another plane. That happens a ton here at Cincinnati, and it is something that will only be increasing even more in the coming years with the coming of the Amazon Sort Hub. Delta, okay, we just saw a passenger plane. Doesn't matter. You can ship cargo on it down in the belly, okay? Here's a train going by, all sorts of shapes of different types of things. Let's go back right here. Cargo or airplane, passenger variety. Stop right there. You've got a FedEx, a UPS, and 2 DHL planes right here, all of them side by side. They are all working from the same airport. They all have their own space in that airport, and yeah, I mean, it's all coming out of China. So let's see what else we see interesting here. Um, Yeah, I mean, it's a big airport for not only passenger stuff, but it is also a big cargo. But its number one thing is cargo, but there are passenger planes that are flying in and out of Hong Kong as well. Another air freight company, TNT, has operations here in the United States. Trains going everywhere. This right here is either a fully loaded plane about ready to be offloaded, or a fully loaded plane about ready to take off. Okay. Again, these multiple doors. This, I don't know what kind of plane this is. It's definitely a 747 because you can see that big hump at the top there. But I don't know if this was something they were able to nose load, or this is all something that was being fed in through doors in the side of the plane. But either way, it's not unusual. Or pardon me, this is the bottom side, so they're loading here. They're also able to load down there. There's generally another door right behind the wing as well, so they're able to load the underbelly of these cargo planes. Three different compartments, three different, all happening at the very same time. So it can be a very frenetic or a very hectic type of pace because these planes are burning gas, and the more gas they burn, the more money that gets wasted. So you don't want the plane sitting. If it's sitting, it's not flying and it's not making you money. So you've got this guy. We'll skip through him. We see things moving. I guess that would be on the underbelly of a cargo plane. Notice these flat types of containers, but also it's also used in cargo planes because there's an underbelly to fill up in addition to that nice tall decking, or that tall deck area that is up top. Sometimes it is referred to as a symphony. Things are just, I mean, everybody's got their part in the symphony. They're doing stuff. They are moving things around. They are getting stuff the uh, off the plane up here, brings it down to ground level, where this guy then takes it. I mean, literally, the stuff comes off the plane. It goes on to this thing that this guy is operating. It then spits out onto this cart that this guy is going to hook up. He's probably going to grab another one that's also in the area and then drag it somewhere else. So they're able to track it by these container numbers that are on here. And this is just something for them to be able to reference what to do, what is inside of there, what plane it perhaps needs to go to next. The symphony. I don't know if they call it the symphony. That's what I call it. Anyway, you've got a variety of things coming off, different shapes, different sizes. But again, looking at, actually, let's bounce back real quick. Okay, notice this, because it's flat on the top, is going underneath a plane. This thing, because it's much taller, can't fit on the underside of a plane, and it's going up top. Okay, we have a pallet. They probably, a company probably went to the door of a customer that makes whatever is in those boxes. The customer gave it to them on a wooden skid that you see right here. And then they pull it up next to this thing right here. Okay, and that is one of those underside cargo containers or capsules or whatever you want to call it. And we will soon start to see what happens. And another interesting thing that you're going to see right here, obviously this is the loading part of it, but we're going to see something here in just a moment that is even more important. Boom. Right here, weight. Okay, the weight that is going into these cubes is very important. Okay, believe it or not, there is an order that they try to load things in to make sure that weight is evenly distributed throughout the aircraft, whether it be on the underside, the underbelly, or in that upper deck for these large cargo planes. Okay, and they want to try and spread the weight out. They also want to make sure that yeah, I mean, it's mostly just so that it does not have shifting, but planes can operate more efficiently if the weight is spread out. But also, you wouldn't want to have a whole bunch of weight in the tail and have a whole bunch of feather light things up in the nose. The engines are going to be working harder, okay? So, finished loading that pallet that was very poorly wrapped, but it didn't need to be wrapped. It was just going on a road. This has now been loaded into this capsule right here, and they are sealing it up. It's got Velcro. It's all very able to be done rather quickly. Okay, this guy's talking. We're skipping him, skipping. Okay, this is the inside of a terminal. Lots of good stuff going on here. The forklifts are very important for moving various things around the facility. They obviously want to keep track of what is what there. They want to keep track of where it is. There's all sorts of, maybe this guy's a manager and he's overseeing the operation. Or maybe this is the manager back here and this is the supervisor who seems a little bit more on his toes than these guys, John back here. Okay, again, just readying things for it to be able to get on a plane. Okay, as you see, barcodes, okay, helping keep track of where something is, what something is, but it's all very important. And you can't lose some of this stuff. This stuff has got to get on a plane. You've charged someone a whole lot of money in order to get it on the plane, and the last thing that you want is to not get it on the plane. There will be heads rolling if that's not if that doesn't take place. Here is something that it's got like a see-through panel that you can see. That's rather common, but a lot of times these things are just made out of aluminum and you can't see anything in them. Oops, there we go. Also, and this is different for just about everybody in the world of moving freight, DHL has different types of skids or special pallets that they are using just inside their ground operations, getting things, ready to go. These things right here are probably going to be loose loaded, stacked into maybe the very extreme reaches of the tail, but it's on one of these pallets. Okay, it looks like it's made out of steel, probably rather heavy. But then all of a sudden, you have got individuals that are, or you've got things like this that are also on these types of skids as well. Okay, I say skids, pallets, whatever you might wish to call them. Okay, this guy again, getting something ready, vice versa, getting it off. That's the sort of things. I mean, they don't throw away that webbing. They are oftentimes, a lot of times, trying to reuse a lot of the plastic. You will find that in business, if you can possibly reuse something, you will. Okay, so as long as the plastic covering on some of this stuff does not have a bunch of labels or barcodes that might confuse someone like this woman who's got a scanner in her hand, they're going to try and reuse it. It cuts down on waste. It cuts down on cost. It's green, if you want to call it that. Okay. skip through him. Again, just more operations on getting things into that upper deck, or I guess in this case, it's taking it off of it. But as you see, they pull up the train right next to it, and then they load it onto the train. Okay, so I don't know, are we done here? Okay, but again, I will say that the movement of cargo is something that is around the clock. It happens all the time. A lot of things are taking place in the dead of night at a lot of these places, your UPSs, your FedExes, your DHLs, because customers want stuff at the beginning of the day. So, what does that mean? A lot of this stuff is going to be moving overnight. So, if you find yourself ever working sometimes for a cargo company, I'm not saying that they don't have jobs that are there during the day, because there's lots of things going on during the day, but a lot of the actual movement of freight that is being expected to move somewhere within 24 hours is happening in the dead of night. And I think we're done there. So, yeah, I just showed you that to kind of give you an idea of some of the things that you might see in a cargo terminal, much the same way that it is over at CVG. I mean, every place is a little bit different. They've got different types of pallets that they may use, but almost everything is the same when it comes to getting things onto a plane, getting it ready to go, offloading it quickly, not breaking things, etc. Okay, so I will leave it at that, and I will stop